In the realm of true crime, few stories are as perplexing and chilling as that of Stephen Morin. A charismatic yet deeply disturbed individual, Morin embarked on a cross-country crime spree that spanned multiple states, leaving a trail of victims and unanswered questions. This true crime video delves into the disturbing narrative of Stephen Morin, exploring his life, crimes, and the legacy of fear he left in his wake. Stephen Peter Morin was born on February 19, 1951, in Houston, Texas. Raised in a seemingly ordinary family, Morin's early years gave little indication of the dark path he would later tread. However, beneath the surface, a troubled mind was taking shape. Morin's criminal activities began to surface in the 1970s when he became involved in fraud and theft. His criminal record quickly escalated, encompassing offenses such as burglary, drug possession, and forgery. Yet, these early crimes were mere glimpses into the darkness that would define Morin's later actions. Morin's criminal activities escalated dramatically in the early 1980s when he embarked on a cross-country crime spree that would terrify communities and baffle law enforcement. Operating under various aliases, Morin committed a string of violent offenses, including armed robberies, sexual assaults, and, most chillingly, a series of murders. Morin's modus operandi was as elusive as his identity. He targeted women, often gaining their trust through charm and deception before subjecting them to heinous acts of violence. Morin's ability to adapt his persona and method of operation made him a slippery and dangerous adversary for law enforcement. As Morin crisscrossed the country, his list of victims continued to grow. From Texas to California, Morin left a trail of fear and trauma, preying on unsuspecting individuals who fell victim to his charisma and manipulation. The randomness of his attacks and the lack of a discernible pattern made it difficult for authorities to predict or prevent his crimes. Morin's criminal spree came to an end on November 5, 1985, when he was arrested in California. Law enforcement finally had the elusive perpetrator in custody, and Morin's true identity and the extent of his crimes began to emerge. The depths of his brutality shocked even seasoned investigators, and the question of how many lives Morin had claimed remained hauntingly unanswered. During his incarceration, Stephen Morin began to confess to a series of crimes, shedding light on the extent of his malevolence. His confessions included the murders of multiple women, and he detailed the chilling methods he employed to ensnare and victimize his targets. Morin's revelations opened a Pandora's box of horror, revealing a deeply disturbed mind capable of unspeakable acts. In 1986, Stephen Morin stood trial for his crimes in California. The proceedings offered a glimpse into the mind of a remorseless and predatory killer. Morin's demeanor during the trial was unsettling. He seemed to revel in the attention and infamy surrounding his case. He was ultimately convicted and sentenced to death, marking the legal consequences for his reign of terror. Stephen Morin's crime spree left a legacy of fear and unanswered questions. The randomness of his attacks and the geographical scope of his crimes raised concerns about the vulnerabilities of individuals in various communities. The fear lingered long after Morin's capture, as survivors grappled with the trauma inflicted by this enigmatic and sadistic criminal. Stephen Morin's journey through the legal system ended on March 13, 1985, when he was executed by lethal injection in Texas. The end of Morin's life, however, did not bring closure to the families of his victims or erase the lasting impact of his crimes on the communities he had terrorized. The twisted Odyssey of Stephen Morin stands as a dark chapter in the annals of true crime. His ability to blend into society, coupled with a remorseless penchant for violence, created a criminal saga that baffled investigators and instilled fear across state lines. The story of Stephen Morin serves as a stark reminder of the capacity for evil that can exist beneath the veneer of normalcy and the enduring trauma left in the wake of a remorseless predator.